Bergen Community College presents Bergen Bulldog Radio on FiOS Channel 26. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Bergen Community College.
Welcome to Bergen Bulldog Radio, the podcast show, here on the YouTube Bergen Bulldog Radio channel and on FiOS Channel 26 in Bergen County, New Jersey. The Bergen Bulldog Podcast Show is a weekly compilation produced by the students of the podcasting class on the Paramus campus of Bergen Community College. Each week, we will feature several podcasts created and produced by Bulldog Radio students. The topics vary, and we hope you will find them informative and entertaining. This week's program features all original podcast episodes for the fall 2025 semester here at BCC. Giant Step Forward, Megan's Marvelous Marvels, Luke's Fast Takes, An Eye on Anaya, Cheating with Jeff, and Game On. So let's get on with the show.
Welcome back to Giant Step Forward. I'm Kenneth, and this week we're talking about one of the most anticipated rematches of the NFL season. The New York Giants are taking on the Philadelphia Eagles again. These two teams played already last 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago they played, and the Giants came out on top with a big statement win. No one thought we would win. We came out, bullied the Eagles, and we're going to play again this week, and we really are going to win again. Setting the scene, the Giants came out and we came out with some quiet confidence. We had beat the 3-0 Chargers 2 weeks ago. We lost to the Saints the next week after, but we looked all right enough that there was some maybe we got some rhythm going on. And when we met, it was this domination from start to finish. We beat them on the line of scrimmage. We forced turnovers. We dictated the pace the whole game. And that identity has to stick. The Giants we went from playing by a playbook, and if we couldn't play by that playbook, we were over, to being a scrappy team that no matter who we're playing, we have a chance to win. And that's exactly what they'll need against a Philly team desperate to prove that the first win was a fluke. It wasn't, but who cares about Philly? Offensively, the Giants have quietly climbed to the middle of the pack in yards per game. We average around 339 total yards, around 120 on the ground. That balance has to be key. We have a rookie quarterback in Jackson Dart, and you can't expect him to be the main reason the game gets going. You have to let him take the back step, let Cam Scatterboo, our demon of a running back, take the most forward pressure off his Cam. Dart hasn't been asked to do too much and doing just enough to win, but he has a great scramble ability that allows plays to go off script, which is the spark the Giants have been missing from overall moderate and mediocre, bland offense we've had for the last 2 years. This has been a great change of pace for us, and having someone like Cam Scatterboo, who is willing to run into defenders, he can have an open field, and he will willingly seek out the opposing defense just to run into them. The real opportunity this week lies in attacking the Eagles secondary. Philadelphia has allowed nearly 245 passing yards per game, and that's a spot we can exploit, especially with Wanda Robinson with a shifty ability to create separation and get free in those immediate routes. We saw it last week in the second touchdown of the game where Dart scrambled out, what I was just talking about earlier, created a misplay, an opportunity that was off script, Wanda caught on the sideline, broken tackles, he made some shifty plays, and we ended up going up score. And then if we can get Cam Scatterboo, who had over 100 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, just a domination, tired out the Eagles defense. If we can get him going and help open up that play action, which will be great for Dart, because you can't expect Dart to be the main reason you win. You can't have him sit back there like he's prime Tom Brady and be the only expecting him to throw for 500 yards and win you the game. He's a rookie and just fourth start. You have to slowly ease him into it. Play action could be the great equalizer. It opens the field up for Dart because the middle linebacker is going to shift down, creates that big open middle line space and a backup pocket of the field. And if the Giants can stay ahead of the chains and avoid a 3rd and 10, a 3rd and 12, a 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20, that really will help us out because we are a short, scrappy team. We're going to bully you into short yardage. Your team's going to fall apart, and then we get those big chunk plays. But we can't get those big chunk plays in the first half. You have to really let the team develop and get moving. And defensively, the Giants' defensive line is incredible. This is the best we've ever looked. Dexter Lawrence, a top 5 defensive lineman in the whole defensive player. He's top 3 in the whole game. And then we have Kayvon Thibodeau and our star defensive rookie Abdul Carter. This team has continued to generate pressure. They desperately need to get Hurts because my God, he could have filed his taxes back there sometimes. He had like 15 seconds sometimes. I'm not even exaggerating, where he just stood back there and no one was back there to sack him. He just stood there and eventually receivers got open because you can't run after someone for that long. We need to keep the pressure on him. And the secondary held up good enough, but if the front four can't get there, eventually they're gonna crumble. And we saw near the end of the game, Philly started to drive on us, and the Giants had no answer until they got the pick. I'll talk about that in a bit. But you can't let Philly. Hold on, I lost my place. You can't let Philly dictate the pace of the game. We have to let the front four get the Hurts and make him throw, and you have to make him throw errant throws because we've seen that we can force him to do it. The zone defense is perfect. You can't play man defense against this Philly team. They have too good of talent to go one on one. You have to let them. You have to trick them. You have to trick them. You have to. So just to get the ending here, the Giants, in order to win, we have to have forward pressure. You can't fall behind the sticks, and you need to let Scatterboo could take the pressure off Dart. And for the Eagles, if you're an Eagles fan, what you want is for them to dominate the game from start to finish. You want them to come out hot, and you can't be playing boring. And you want them to You want them to really bring the pressure back to the Giants and make them play their game. And thanks for listening. This has been Giants Step Forward. I'm Kenneth Eric.
You're listening to Bergen Bulldog Radio, the podcast show, here on the Bergen Bulldog Radio YouTube channel and on FiOS Channel 26 in Bergen County, New Jersey. And now, back to the show.
Hello, welcome to Megan's Marvelous Marvels. I'm your host, Megan Alvarez, and today I'm going to share my top 5 favorite Marvel movies. So, coming in at number 5, we have Thor Ragnarok. I actually watched this movie so many times that it became my comfort movie. Out of all the Thor films, this one is my favorite because it mixes comedy, action, and a great story. My favorite moment is when Thor reaches his full potential while fighting his sister Hela. At the start of the movie, Hela, who was the antagonist, destroyed Thor's hammer, so Thor didn't really get to use his hammer throughout the entire movie. I would have to say, like, the funniest part is, like, it was, like, when Bruce Banner, who was, like, the Hulk, he was, like, trying to, like, transform into the Hulk, so, like, he was, like, falling out of, like, the spaceship, but, like, while he was trying to transform, it didn't work out, so he kind of just, like, landed on the floor right there. That was, like, the funniest part right there. But, like, back to, like, Thor reaching his, like, full potential, like, the music that was playing in the background, like, I think it was called, like, the Immigrant Song, like, it just fit perfectly during that scene right there. Alright, so coming at number 4, we have Captain America Civil War. This movie felt like another, like, Avengers movie, but, like, in the end, sorry, spoiler warning, like, they kind of break up. So, like, the airport battle between Iron Man and Captain America is, like, my favorite part. Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther are introduced, which, like, made it exciting. Iron Man's team included Black Widow, War Machine, and the Vision. Captain America's team included the Falcon, Bucky Barnes, Hawkeye, Ant-Man, and the Scarlet Witch, which is also my favorite character. The twist of the movie is when Baron Zemo, who's the antagonist, shows Tony Stark a footage back in, like, the 1970s of, like, how his parents were killed, and it turns out, like, Bucky Barnes was the one who killed his parents. So, to question all my Marvel fans, are you Team Captain America or Team Iron Man? To answer that question, I'm Team Captain America. I'm sorry, it just kind of makes sense to be in his team. So, number 3, we have Avengers Endgame. We have Avengers Endgame. So, I put this as my number 3 because I got spoiled. I got spoiled before watching it, but the movie was peak though. Even though it was like a 3-hour long movie, I was still entertained the whole time. I will have to say the best part is where, like, everybody just returns from the dead, and then Captain America just says, "Avengers Assemble." That was my favorite part from there. But like what I heard was like in the movie theaters, like I heard everybody like was like cheering and screaming throughout that scene. I also heard that like when Captain America like caught Thor's hammer, everybody was just like screaming at that part. Like that part was like insane right there. The only thing I didn't like about that movie was when Captain America went back in time to be with Peggy. I didn't like that because he went back in time to be with the girl that he only kissed once. I did not like that. All right, number 2, we have Spider-Man No Way Home. I actually saw this in theaters when it came out, and like the vibe of the theater was crazy. To be honest, I never really like been to a movie theater where like everybody could just like cheer and scream for like a moment that like happens there. But like seeing Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's like Spider-Man appeared had like everybody like cheering, including me. I remember like in the theater I yelled like "Go Ned" when like he used Doctor Strange's sling ring to open the portal. Like that's when like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man came in. I love this movie so much that I actually ended up watching it twice on theaters. All right, guys, so finally we have our number 1, which is Avengers Infinity War. So this movie had me so frustrated, but like it was like in a good way. Let me tell you guys something. I did not leave my room until the movie was over. I yelled at like my TV when like Peter Quill punched Thanos when like Iron Man and Spider-Man were trying to get like the Infinity Gauntlet out of Thanos' arm. Like that got me so mad right there. I was also mad when like Wanda like destroyed the Mind Stone and then Thanos like used like the Time Stone to like, reverse back time. Anyways, I was mad when like Wanda destroyed the Mind Stone and Thanos reversed time by using the Time Stone and like basically like killed Vision again. Another part I was mad at was when Thor didn't aim for the head. The Where's Gamora scene between Iron Man, Spider-Man, and the Guardians of the Galaxy was hilarious. By the way, guys, I think we should talk about like the CGI for a little bit of like how like Tony's new suit, like the way like he put on like his Iron Man suit with like the nanotechnology was like that was really good. And there you have it, guys. These are my top 5 favorite Marvel movies. I'm your host, Megan Alvarez, and thanks for watching Megan's Marvelous Marvels.
You're listening to Bergen Bulldog Radio, the podcast show, here on YouTube and FiOS Channel 26 in Bergen County, New Jersey. And now, back to the show.
You want to count down?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, this is Luke Farley, and you're listening to Luke's Fast Takes on the Bergen Bulldog Radio, where I break down the movies that leave a real impression, quick and to the point. Today, I'm talking about one of my favorite movies of the year, F1. Directed by Joseph Kosinski, the same guy who gave us Top Gun Maverick, with a killer score from Hans Zimmer. The movie follows a former F1 driver, played by Brad Pitt, who gets a shot at redemption, mentoring a young prodigy, played by Damson Idris. What starts as a comeback story quickly turns into a full-on battle for pride, legacy, and obsession. Right off the bat, I have to say, this movie rocks. What a sick movie. I mean, plot-wise, F1 isn't reinventing the wheel. It's your classic underdog meets obsession meets redemption arc. But the way F1 is written, shot, scored, and edited is just perfect. F1 is easily one of the best movies of the year so far. Summer blockbusters are back! The Joseph Kosinski and Hans Zimmer combo is so good, it should be illegal. Or at the very least, it deserves to be studied in film schools for decades. Zimmer's score doesn't just play in the background, it drives the entire film. Some of the most unforgettable moments happen when nobody's even talking. It's just Sonny in the zone, the engine screaming, and Zimmer's music wrapping around the scene like it's a part of the race. It's absolutely electric. Also, one of the biggest surprises for me was how much I actually learned about F1 as a sport. Now, I've never watched any F1 races before, but I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't expect to learn so much from this movie. F1 doesn't water anything down, but it also doesn't leave you confused. It finds a way to explain racing strategies, pit stop timing, tire choices, and how certain moves on the track actually work. You walk out understanding how intense and smart this sport really is. Just like Top Gun Maverick, this isn't just about speed. It's about legacy, pressure, obsession, and pushing yourself past the limit. And that ending, no spoilers, but it's one of the most intense, emotional, and visually stunning finales I've seen in a theater in a very long time. The final race slaps on every single level. The emotion, the stakes, the visuals. And of course, Zimmer going absolute beast mode with the score. I was like actually gripping the seat like I was strapped into the car. And honestly, I have to mention the music again. The score is so unbelievably good. The whole soundtrack has been stuck in my head ever since I watched the movie, and it's been like almost 4 months. Hans Zimmer's score is just on another level. It elevates every scene and makes the tension, the speed, and the emotion hit even harder than it already does. And at the same time, the music has such a fun, joyful vibe that makes the races feel exhilarating and almost celebratory. Even when I'm not watching, I catch myself humming these songs or replaying certain moments in my head like my brain is a whole edit. That's the mark of a truly unforgettable soundtrack. It lingers, it pumps you up, and it makes every high speed moment feel even more intense. Now, lastly, I need to talk about watching F1 in an IMAX theater. The IMAX experience was absolutely essential. The sound, the scale, the way the camera puts you right on the track, it genuinely feels like you're in an F1 cockpit. I mean, it's not just watching the movie anymore. It's feeling every turn, every gear shift, every collision. At the end of the day, F1 is just a monster of a film. Kaczynski delivers top tier spectacle without losing any of the heart, and Zimmer's score is an all timer. Whether you live and breathe Formula One or just like fast cars, this movie will blow you away. So, all right, that's it for this episode of Luke's Fast Takes on Bergen Bulldog Radio. If you haven't seen F1 yet, I really think you should check it out. Even if you're not a huge fan of the racing, the story, the visuals, and the music make it a movie that's impossible not to get caught up in. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back with another quick take on a film that left an impression.
Still lots more to come here on the podcast show on Bergen Bulldog Radio. This is Bergen Bulldog Radio from Bergen Community College on YouTube and FiOS Channel 26 in Bergen County, New Jersey.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Bergen Bulldog Podcast. Today you're tuned in with Anaya Jones, and the show is called An Eye Out for Anaya. So just in case you missed it, yesterday was probably the woman's biggest Super Bowl, which was the Victoria's Secret fashion show. They hosted it in New York City, which I always think they do, and today they really didn't come to play. They came back with something to say because I don't know if we watched it last year, but it was a major flop. 2024, not only was the cameraman horrible, the girls' walks was not good too. We had one that fell on stage. It was just embarrassing. So this year, how much diversity they use, I have a lot to say. Starting with the energy that they had, it was the black girls. There was a lot of diversity with the bodies too. And comparing it from last year, like I said, it felt like it was a reboot with no real message. This year, they knew exactly what they were doing, and I love that. Um, I do want to shout out the range of the different body types. We saw big girls walking with the same confidence and sex appeal that the brand used to reserve for only one body type, meaning a size 0 to 2, too skinny, and not really branching out to anybody with curves or anybody that's weighing over what the average weight was. I also want to give a big shout out to Angel Reese for being the first athletic black woman to walk that stage when a lot of people said she couldn't. And also a big shout out to Suni Lee, I think is her last name, the gymnast that won a couple gold medals for the Olympics. And one more influencer, her name is Campbell. She's just a very big influencer, impacted on the world, and I just want to give those three people big shout outs for doing what they can and just giving it what we wanted to see. I also want to talk about all the hair. The hair was amazing. It was an average blowout, but it was bouncy. It was a 90s blowout. She made her return. They did not come to play. It was giving Naomi, and it was giving Tyra. It was giving main character, and that's exactly what we want in the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Hello. I also wanted to talk about the highlights too, the performers. My favorite one was Missy because it was an old throwback too. I did like Madison Beer. I felt like her energy, her songs, the voice, even her walk too. Everything was just beautiful. Everything was amazing. The lineup, even down to the K-pop girls. I didn't know what they were saying, but they had a nice voice. So either way, it was still enjoyable to listen. Because personally, me, I don't know about anybody else, but I can only really have fun or listen to things that I can understand. So K-pop, me not understanding it, I still had enjoyed my time, and I think other people did too. Um, I also wanted to talk about this wasn't just a fashion show. It was a rebrand that done it right. They finally understood that the sexy isn't for just one size, one color, or one look. It's a presence, confidence, and representation. And this is how New York's Victoria's Secret, that I might just start watching Ken if it comes back. I do want to say that personally watching it, there was probably four girls that stood out to me, which was obviously Gigi, the sisters, just the sisters. Their makeup down to, how they walked. I love their walk. Secondly, I would say is obviously all the black girls, that their skin, how it was just blooming and glowing. It's just beautiful and amazing. Um, yeah, that's it. So thank you for tuning in with me. We will definitely come back. I'll see you guys next week or whenever we do have again.
It's Bergen Bulldog Radio, the podcast show, here on YouTube and FiOS Channel 26 in Bergen County, New Jersey. And now back to the show.
Hello, everyone, and I'm Matthew Rivera, and this is Game On. Today, I'm here to discuss the best and the worst video games that have been released this year so far. Before I start, though, I want to give some background information about me for y'all before I get into the details of everything, so y'all know I have at least some credibility. I've been playing video games basically ever since I was given access to a device that can have games on it, which that was probably around age 7, maybe 8, which honestly I don't remember all the way, but just know I've been playing video games for most of my life because I'm 19, so, that's a major part of my life, which means that everything I will be saying is completely factual, and your opinion does not matter, only mine does. Nah, I'm playing though. Enough filler talk, let's get into my thoughts. So, the first game I'd like to talk about is Doom the Dark Ages. Doom the Dark Ages is a prequel to the other two new-gen Doom games, and if I had the time, I'd try to explain how exactly it's a prequel, but honestly, the time was just way too way too complicated. I think I'd confuse myself just from talking about it. But anyways, this game came out in March of this year. I think it's a very good and solid game. The graphics are pretty good. The gameplay is amazing, which is the biggest selling point in my opinion. Very fluid, very fast paced, very fun, and you get so much things that you could do in this game, like with the progress, which is I think the best part, because you get new weapons, new abilities. There's so much ways that you can customize your way of playing that I think is really good. Now I will admit though, I did not finish the game. Now that may sound bad, but I have a good reason, I promise. During the time I was playing this game, another game came out, and it took all the attention I had away from Doom, and I'm not gonna lie. That game is Elden Ring Night Rain. Now, one thing about me is I love a good single player game, especially if it's a Souls game, which, if you don't know, is a genre of single player games that follows the blueprint of the Dark Souls series, which is a very good series of games made by From Software, and they made Elden Ring Night Rain, which is a mix of single player and multiplayer because you can play it with friends, random people, or by yourself. I was just having so much fun with this game when it first came out. Like I unlocked basically everything. Well, for my characters, because there's a lot of characters you can play. But I got so much items, beat every boss. It's just honestly outshine Doom for me a little bit, which I'm gonna give myself the time to revisit Doom and beat it. But just Elden Ring Night Range is very good. But anyways, enough yap. Let's move on to the next game, which is Hollow Knight Silksong. Man, have fans of this series been waiting on this game, let me tell you. The first Hollow Knight came out in 2017, and the sequel has just now came out in September. So just know once that game dropped, it was madness. So many people were on it, And the game is an indie game, which means it's not made from any big studios and usually made from one person or one small team. And this game outsold so many big games that have released this year, almost all of them actually, which almost never happens for an indie game. So just know this game's a hit. Another game I like to talk about, which I believe could be this year's game of the year, is Expedition 33, which is a single player game, role playing type of game, turn based action game, but this game is actually like it's amazing. The story is amazing, graphics are very good. The gameplay is actually fun for a turn based game, which usually some of these games are like pretty boring because you have to wait your turn to play. But this game makes it like unique in a fast paced way and makes it fun. Which also the music in this game, the score, whew, it just makes the experience 10 times better. And I think that this game actually has a really good chance of winning Game of the Year. But I think I've talked enough about the nice and good game. Let's switch on to the stinky games, the games I believe to be yucky. Now, honestly, I don't think there's too many games that have come out this year I've like think is really bad. Most of them are like really below average. I think some of them aren't worth playing. Um, I mean, I could go into nitty gritty talk about the games that are um, wait, are we done?
Yeah, you still got time.
Okay,
You got like
my bad.
30 seconds.
I can go into the nitty gritty and talk about the games that are like in the deepest little spaces of the like the Steam library that only 10 people have played and are the worst piece of software ever. But that would be no fun. So I'm starting off with Mario Kart World, which is a surprise because it's a Mario game. Usually those games are solid fun, but I just feel like there's no reason to play it over Mario Kart 8 because it just feels so much less fast paced than Mario Kart 8. It just doesn't make me want to play it. I think if they add a faster speed, 200cc, it will make it more fun. But like, I don't know. It's just I just don't feel like it's worth playing. And now for my last game, I'll be talking about Destiny 2. Now, this game has been out for a while, but they released an expansion earlier this year called The Edge of Fate. And oh man, let me tell you, this expansion is honestly, it could kill the whole game because the amount of players that are on the game right now is the lowest it's ever been, which is saying something because at one point they were going to shut down because of how bad it was doing, which yeah, that's rough. So just but that's going to do it for Game On. My name's Matthew Rivera, signing off.
You ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're cheating with Jeff, and now that I've got your attention, I would like to discuss a shortcut that'll get you out of a lot of trouble on your computer. This could be a life-saving thing for you, so hang in here. It's going to take me a little bit to explain. This is intermediate level keyboard shortcuts. This could really get you out of a bad situation. Have you ever accidentally closed out of that window that you were working on, closed out of that tab? Uh, it happens. It happens all the time. Sometimes you're in the middle of working on something. You accidentally click that X when you were trying to make your window bigger, and then there goes your work. What if I told you that there's a way to undo that mistake? What if I told you that there's a way to get your tab back out from the void in which it disappeared to? It's really pretty easy. Just hang in with me as we discuss this week's shortcut. So take a look at your keyboard. Mac users, you use Command. PC users and Linux users, you use Control. And I'm going to assume that this isn't the first time that you've used a keyboard, but this may still be news to some listeners. Using the keyboard allows a person to do things that would take a longer time to do with the mouse. But there's also all these hidden shortcuts, which we like to discuss on Cheating with Jeff. Some common shortcuts, Control or Command, you go Control C to copy, right? So it helps you to remember. Control plus C performs the copy function. And if you look at your keyboard right next to C, you'll find X. Just like the copy function, there's a cut function, the difference being that it deletes the thing that you're copying to your clipboard. Once you understand that Control C is copy and Control X is cut, and then on the other side of C, right where you need it because you just did your Control C to copy, then you get your Control V to paste. So these are really common shortcuts. People are constantly copying and pasting your website, whatever you're typing, your research paper, your email to your mother, whatever it is. Control C, Control V. Then there's all these other shortcuts, and one of them might be Control P for print or Control T for tab. And that's the magic that we're talking about today is Control T for tab. There's Control T opens a new tab in your browser, or Command T on a Mac. Remember, T for tab. Now, this is the big secret is in addition to all of these secret codes that a person tries to remember by remembering, C for copy, P for print, T for tab. Once you understand that first level of secret codes, then you'll find that there's an additional level. So stick with Control T, but 1, 2, 3 fingers, Control Shift T is the advanced functionality that we're discussing today. This is your secret code that can save you a lot of headaches. When you Control Shift T, instead of spawning a new tab, you're bringing back the last tab that existed that was closed. So believe it or not, if you accidentally close out of the tab that you're working on, all you have to do is Control Shift T for tab, and it'll bring that tab back. But what if you closed out that whole window of tabs? What if you're missing 8 tabs? Well, hit the Control Shift T again. Every time you hit Control Shift T, you'll go back a step. So if you closed 3 tabs in a row, 1, 2, 3 at a time, you can Control Shift T, 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 and get all the way back to where you were. It'll open up all 3 of those tabs. If you close that entire window and you lose the 10 tabs at the same time, then Control Shift T will bring back the entire window of 10 tabs. I know it sounds too good to be true. Try it out for yourself. Next time or even before you accidentally close something, next time you sit at your computer, take a look at your keyboard, open up a tab in whatever browser you like, and try this out. Control Shift T for tab. It'll bring you back from whatever mess that you found yourself in when you lost the tab that you closed accidentally. There's one exception. If you were typing into a form field, you're filling out an application on something, you could lose the text that was in the boxes on the web page. But this shortcut will save your life. And find out more shortcuts next week on Cheating with Jeff.
The podcast show here on Bergen Bulldog Radio was engineered and edited by Megan Alvarez and Jordan Burrell. Our Bulldog mascot is Jameson. The next episodes will air beginning Thursday, November 13th, 2025. The executive producer of Bergen Bulldog Radio is Professor Robert Williams. Thanks for joining us, and see you next time on Bergen Bulldog Radio.